Before we move on to the rest of this lesson, we need a couple of definitions so that you understand what we're talking about. So get out a paper. You should have no paper with you all the time. And write down these definitions so you can understand the rest of the lesson. The rest of the lesson. The first thing that I want you to understand is what a trust is. T-R-U-S-T. Trust, in economic terms at this time period, is a large company. A trust is a large company. Did you write that down on your paper? A large company. Now these companies could, span the states or be over the whole country. Trusts can be a good thing, but can also be a bad thing, and we'll talk about that through this lesson. But trusts they have a lot of power to control things. In fact, they have a lot of power to put smaller companies out of business. So know what a trust is when I talk about a trust in the rest of this lesson. What is it? Large companies. The other thing that I want you to understand is what a labor union is. A labor union. Now let's say that there is a factory. We'll say a coal mine factory because we'll talk about that a lot in this lesson. There's a coal mine factory. Well, the workers don't really like how things are going. They maybe don't like their pay, they don't like their hours, maybe they need some more safety things in the coal mine. Maybe they just need simple things like more breaks, or maybe some better water, water on hand to drink, whatever they need. Well, what a labor union is instead of all the workers get together and they talk to the boss together as a labor union. Now that's different than each individual going to talk to the boss, say, I'd like some better water, and the boss says no. But if the whole group comes together and says, we would like some better water to drink, that's kind of a weird one, huh? But we'll say it. Better water to drink, then the boss will probably listen if he knows it's the whole group. And what can the labor union do? Well, if the labor union doesn't like what the boss does, they can strike. And basically the boss loses all of his employees at once, which causes the business problems. So a labor union is when the workers get together to talk to the boss together to try to help things for the workers. So the labor union's number one concern is to make life better for the workers. They're not worried about the company always. They're not worried about the customers always. Labor unions, their number one goal is to make it better for the worker. They can do that by getting better salary, more time off, sick pay, better working conditions, all those things that a labor union tries to do for its workers. And we'll talk about labor unions a lot. The last term that I want to make sure that you know, we've had two so far, here's the last one, is Gilded Age. This time period is called the Gilded Age. What does the word gilded, if you're not sure how to spell it, listen, I'll spell it really fast, and if you don't get it, you'll have to rewind it and listen to me spell it again. Are you ready? G-U-I-L-D-E-D, gilded. So Gilded Age is the time period, and it's actually a term that Mark Twain made up and people started to use for this time. Gilded means that it's covered in something fancy, usually a precious metal. So like if you have a gilded statue, it may be a statue made out of wood, but it's gilded with gold. So that's what gilded means. But they call this the Gilded Age because this is the time when certain people got hugely rich and started having very, very fancy stuff. And so they call this the Gilded Age. The Gilded Age is good if you're wealthy. The Gilded Age is a little bit hard if you're not. Gilded Age, something you should know, it refers to this time period, the 1880s and 1910s, a time period when rich people were getting very, very, very more rich. Make sure you know what labor unions are. Rewind it if you don't. And make sure that you know what, what was the first one? I forgot already. Trusts. There it is. Trusts are. Those three definitions. Now you can go on to some of the next lessons.